He'd made bad choices. But now, when the real battle came, he wouldn't make those choices. He wouldn't make the same mistake twice. The book's pages began to flip backwards, towards the beginning. And he realized that his adventure was just beginning. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Reynardo. On the other hand, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Lapino was no game changer, but could Reynardo really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
Ach komm, wir gehen weiter hier den Konsequenten erstmal.
The island was windswept desert. No one went there except ostriches and ostrich hunters. The Iblis stone. It sounded ominous. It sounded powerful. If the Emperor was searching for it, it must be dangerous. And so, Reynardo went ostrich hunting. Every child could sing verses about the Sky Ripper, but ancient codices held hints of other things. A stone that ate souls, a ruby that drank blood, a jewel only a righteous man could give away. Were all these things the Iblis stone? Long hidden in the buried temple? Another ancient item that was only resurfacing now? Drawn up from the deeps by the Emperor's horrific rituals?
So, wir machen jetzt unseren zweiten Durchlauf.
Once, Reynardo had opened a chest, and a jack-in-the-box jumped out. Jack-in-the-boxes, they gave him the Wiggins.
Wir schauen mal, ob wir diesmal ein weniger extremes Szenario finden. So, ich glaube, ich kann hier noch nichts craften, oder? Wir haben noch zu wenig Erz. Okay.
The air here tasted bitter. Steps were too tall for a person. The entire place felt restless, like it had been vexed to nightmare under the dust, waiting for its hour to come around at last.
So, nicht nehmen Hitpoints.
Cawing in frustration. They were still searching for a way in. Good. Then he hadn't come too late. Sometimes, Reynardo really hated inanimate objects.
Ah, wir können jetzt so. So, wir können jetzt so. Nehmen wir jetzt mal das hier mit. Ja, gehen wir mal den Pfad. Mal sehen, was das hier bringt. Schon wieder mangelhaft. So. Also. Finden wir doch mal das Artefakt.
Hero Wall, Hero Sword, Ice Wall, Ice Cube.
Da komme ich ja nicht weiter, habe ich ja gar kein Eisschwert.
What was really fun was hooking yourself onto a moving ship.
Wir könnten das Eisschwert bauen. Achso, jetzt kommen wir da. Doch, Feuerschwert haben wir ja auch. Feuerschwert? Da.
What's there?
Werkbank? Kann ich ja noch ein Juwel reinbauen, oder?
As for the gate, well, he could take her or leave her.
Au.
Sorry, it's best I could do.
Achso, das wäre ein anderer Durchgang gewesen.
How we do it, said Reynardo to himself.
So, level up, level up. So, was nehmen wir denn jetzt da? Was nehmen wir denn jetzt? Wir nehmen mal hier Verteidigung.
The Ravens at least could not get past this point. Obviously, the temple builders knew how to deal with tomb raiders.
Gucken wir das.
He wasn't that good. Yet.
Könnten wir das Eisschwert ausprobieren?
This couldn't be good for global warming.
Ups. So, Kampf? Kampf. Das sieht nach Kampf aus hier, oder?
It was a stone of the purest blackness. It reflected no light, like a void made solid. Nervous, he picked it up. I can make you Who said that? It was the stone. Eager. Thirsty. That seemed tempting and terribly wrong. Zenobia was the Emperor's greatest general and a potent witch. But they had been close once, and Reynardo wasn't sure he really wanted to be Emperor. Why not capture the core of Skyripper instead? It was the eye of a lost god torn out by the transcendent Emperor to power his greatest weapon. "It's the core," said the stone anxiously.
Nein, wir haben herausgefunden, dass sie noch auf uns steht. Deswegen holen wir uns einfach den Kern. Und schauen mal, was damit passiert.
The stone bothered him. He hated being told what to do. Wasn't that why he joined the rebellion? Wasn't that why he'd refused to be a soldier? He'd agreed to come on board only if he could freelance. The stone felt a bit clingy. The sage Calaveras had told him where to find the Skyripper, a weapon capable of challenging the gods. Even without its armature, the core would still possess great power. He would go there. The moment he landed the Farfarer, Reynardo had a rare feeling of regret. It's not too late, he thought. He could turn around and sail for Zenobia's island. He frowned. Wait a minute. He didn't want to kill Zenobia, did he? Sure, technically she was the enemy, but they'd been at sword food school together. They'd never been lovers, but somehow they'd been closer. She'd told him every secret about herself. Except the biggest one. That she was the Emperor's daughter. No. Kill Zenobia, whispered the stone. Before it's too late.
Das müssen wir ja auch noch lesen. So. Oh ja, mit so einem Eisschwert geht schon einiges. Jetzt ist nur die Energie alle. Schildbrecher Level 2. Na, das klingt ja eigentlich gar nicht mal so verkehrt. So, geht's hier jetzt irgendwo weiter? Ne. Ach, hier. Treppe hoch. Treppe hoch?
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time. You almost never saw wild gogglers together like this. The toads had to train them not to peck each other to death. And these had to be imperial gogglers. That meant ravens were up ahead. That is a
very cool sword, thought Reynardo. No, seriously. He couldn't feel his paw anymore.
Eisschwert, gutes Schwert. So, brauchen wir aber das Feuerschwert.
Ah, the road less traveled, thought Reynardo. How intriguing.
Ah, Angriffstempo. Oh, das klingt auch gut. Brauchen wir nur mal wieder eine Werkbank.
The stone hadn't lied about what it could do for him. With each raven he cut down, he felt a jolt of power flowing into his arm. "You're weak," whispered the stone. "The core will kill you." "Are you afraid of it?" Don't be ridiculous, it chuckled. But it's unstable. It will poison you if so much as carry it, and if you try to use it, it will explode catastrophically. Reynardo did not trust rocks that talked in his head. He went onwards.
Sehe ich nämlich ähnlich. Letztes Mal hat uns das Schwert so ein bisschen in Verderben geritten. Deswegen schauen wir mal, ob wir das bändigen können.
Sharp? Check. Pointy? Check. Flexible? Check. What else do you need in a sword?
Oh.
He felt like Tarzan. Surprisingly unwounded.
Ja, gut gekämpft. Ich habe. So, oh, da öffnet sich eine Tür. Das ist wieder der Kern.
As he approached the core, the stone became hysterical. No, it's too much power. We'll rip a hole in space and time. He had a sudden vision of plunging his gauntlet into the core and dying in anguish. That wasn't his vision, was it? The stone had sent him its darkest fears, hadn't it? He had a sudden impulse to do exactly that. He raised his right fist and plunged it into the core. There was a rush of light. He thought he could hear the stone screaming. And then he passed out. When Reynardo came to, the core was gone. But the Ibla stone was no longer black, but glowing with a blue light. And it was silent. "I can't hear you," he sang out, and "You?" It didn't answer. "Ha!" he said. He had defeated the demonic gem with the power of his mind. He felt invincible.